The Princess, the Prince, and the Evil Robots. Not far from where you're sitting now is a magical secret kingdom. At its center is a beautiful tall castle surrounded by a ring of fields and villages. And beyond this is an emerald green forest where weird and wonderful creatures live. It's a happy place, and that's largely down to Princess Francesca and Prince Andrew. They were given the royal task of protecting the kingdom from anyone wishing it harm. Thankfully, it's a job they are both very good at. Last month, a load of frost giants came down from the distant mountains and began stamping on the farmers' fields, squashing all their crops flat. Princess Francesca and Prince Andrew wasted no time at all in riding to the rescue on the back of a friendly, fire-breathing dragon. The dragon used her hot breath to scare all of the frost giants away, and more than one of them went home with a melted bottom. Last week, a hole opened up in the floor of the castle dungeon. 20 skeletons crawled out and began terrorizing the people of the castle. It could have been a disaster if not for quick-thinking Princess Francesca. She knew how dogs enjoy chewing on a bone, and so she gathered together every dog inside the castle's walls and sent them racing after the skeletons. In less than an hour, there wasn't a single skeleton left. And since then, everything has been nice and quiet. Until this morning. That's when the evil robots arrived. 5 huge robots, each as tall as a tree, jetted across the dawn sky. Nobody knew where they'd come from, but they were all heading for the castle. They landed in a circle just beyond the castle walls, sending farmers and villagers running. "Oh, what happened, Frankie?" asked a sleepy Prince Andrew when Princess Francesca burst into his room. "Quickly, come to the balcony," she replied. "We've got a problem." Prince Andrew gasped at the mighty metal stood out in the fields. "A giant robot? There's 4 of them around the castle," explained Francesca. "I don't think they've come for breakfast." A sudden grinding noise saw a hatch open up in the robot's chest, and a swarm of smaller robots began spilling out onto the fields. "So many of them," said Prince Andrew. As they watched the giant robot's mouth begin to glow, "Humans, you are weak and puny. All robots are mighty and strong. We've come to take your castle for ourselves, and there's nothing you can do about it. Bwah ha ha ha," boomed the giant robot. "Oh no," said Prince Andrew. "This is terrible," admitted Princess Francesca as the robots began marching forwards. "There must be something we can do," wailed Prince Andrew. Said Francesca. "Those robots look familiar somehow. Their color, some of those shapes, I've seen them before." Prince Andrew looked at her curiously. "I've got it," she said excitedly. "Come on, to Curly Horn Tower." "Curly Horn Tower? Hey, slow down," said Andrew. "I'm still in my pajamas." Curly Horn Tower was one of the highest towers in the castle. It got its name from the enormous metal trumpet that stretched out to one of the windows and wrapped itself several times around the tower before finishing like a giant open flower. It was very old, and nobody could remember why it was there. But Princess Francesca was a curious soul, and she sometimes went up into the tower to wonder why such a giant trumpet would ever be built. And now she thought she knew the answer. The prince and princess burst into the room at the top of the tower, and Francesca went immediately to the horn's narrow end. "Look at this," she said, pointing to the metal. Although the curly horn outside the window was weathered and rusty, inside this room, the horn was protected from the wind and rain. It was clear that the horn was made of the same material as the robots. "Well, that's strange," said Prince Andrew. "Why would the robots and the horn be made of the same stuff?" I think," said Francesca, "that long ago our ancestors fought the same evil robots and defeated them. I don't know how they defeated them, but I think they built this horn from the fallen robots." Prince Andrew scratched his head. "But why?" "To call whoever helped defeat them last time," suggested Francesca. "Oh, wow! So we have to blow the horn?" asked Andrew. "Can I do it?" "Yeah, go for it," agreed Francesca. Prince Andrew sucked in a huge lungful of air, put his lips to the mouthpiece, and blew. Bellowed the horn. Princess Francesca was already at the window and was horrified to see that the robots had already reached the castle moat. Then something caught her eye in the distance. The forest, which circled the fields and villages, was moving. Branches were swaying and shaking, disturbing thousands upon thousands of birds. Then, as Francesca watched, huge shapes burst out from under the cover of the trees. It took a moment for Francesca to work out what they were. "Andrew, look! Dinosaurs! Hundreds of dinosaurs!" she squealed with delight. "Yay!" he said, a little red-faced from all the blowing. As they watched, the robots began to notice the newcomers and turned to face them. There was an almighty crash as metal robotic bodies clashed with stomping feet, razor-sharp teeth, and spiky tails. The robots tried to put up a fight, but the friendly dinosaurs were too big and too many. A stegosaurus swept its tail and sent a dozen smaller robots flying in the air. A tyrannosaurus chomped another group, sending robot parts flying. And then the best bit, a brachiosaurus and a diplodocus, two huge long-necked dinosaurs, bashed into one of the giant robots, and it crumpled, toppling to the ground. A deafening cheer rose up from the walls where the people of the castle had gathered to watch. The robots were beginning to run or fly away, defeated. "We did it!" laughed Princess Francesca. "Everyone's saved!" smiled Prince Andrew. "Come on, I want to meet those dinosaurs!" Crowds emerged to cheer Princess Francesca and Prince Andrew for their cleverness, and to thank the heroic dinosaurs. Once again, the royal brother and sister had saved the day. With a little help, of course. The end. So that you don't miss a single episode, just click that subscribe button.